Off we go.
We are live.
Hello, everyone. We're just starting a couple of minutes early to let everyone kind of file in. Happy Thursday. Yeah, it's Thursday, almost
It is
Wednesday.
Thursday.
I'm really happy it's Thursday and not Wednesday.
Although we're in tax season, people are going to tell us what weekends.
Yeah, right. I know. Who was it? I can't remember. We heard from someone earlier this week that it's not busy season, it's busier season. And
Busier season.
I was like, that's so true. It's so true. So hi, everyone. Welcome. We just have a few more minutes before we really kick things off. We're so happy you could join us today. I know you guys are really, really busy, so we appreciate you taking the time
Very much.
spending this time with us. So we'll kick it off here in a couple minutes. Let some more people kind of file in. We have a really great agenda for you guys. Oh, and I always do like to mention, as you guys have questions throughout the webinar, throw them in the Q&A portion of the webinar. Feel free to ask us questions. We'll try and stop, and as they're relevant to the topic, we'll kind of answer those questions. All right. My first Zoom meeting. Hi, Lane.
Oh, well, welcome.
Welcome. Yeah, where are you guys tuning in from today? I'm in Portland, Oregon, watching a lot of rain come down. There's no sun here. So.
Oh, well, we just had snow showers, so I'll take
okay. Yeah, I'm happy I'm not in Indiana. Sorry, Emily.
Hopefully everyone's staying warm. If you're some of those states that got feet of snow, we hope that you're doing okay, especially those in Texas.
Oh, Donna says 2 feet of snow on the ground in Chicago. Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh.
Be safe. A week without internet, says Judy.
Oh no. Well, man, our thoughts are with you guys if you don't have power or internet.
Yeah, it's from Seattle area. You guys are probably getting some snow too, or it's melting by now, hopefully for you guys. I know in Portland it's starting to melt. All right, well, we are at in Indiana. There's Kim in Indiana. Well, thank you all so much for joining us today. We have a really nice agenda for you. We're going to be covering some of the tips for getting clients to send documents in on time with Lissio. So as I mentioned before, feel free to throw any questions in, and we will have an email following the webinar that'll have some resources for you in there as well. So Emily, if you want, you can go to the next slide for me.
All right, let's do it.
All right, what's on the agenda? So we have a couple of things that we're going to be covering today. We have some feature updates that we wanted to give you guys, and then we're really going to start to dive into client adoption and things that are going to help you guys get faster responses from clients during your busy season. We did quickly want to do a poll. So this poll, we wanted to know what are your guys' experience levels with Liscio. So I'm going to have Emily launch the poll for us, and we just want to know, where are you guys at in the process? What is your experience level? We're just kind of curious to see. And Emily, if you want, I think we can share the poll afterwards whenever you close it. And I'll let a lot of
people putting answers in. Very fun to see who's all joining us today.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, I'm gonna let you count it down because we all know that when I count 10 seconds, it ends up lasting 30 seconds. So yeah. We're gonna leave it up to you this time.
30 more seconds.
Okay. All right, yeah, this is all on you. I'm like, you're the poll girl now.
The good thing is we weren't asked about counting during our interviews. We weren't hired to count. So we're good.
Excuse me. It's a good thing I'm not an accountant, right? You know?
That's what all these wonderful people here are for. They're the pros. It's like, sometimes I want to call you guys and say, I have questions.
I know, right?
Help me with the taxes.
Oh, about 6 inches of snow, someone said. Oh, gosh.
Wow. Okay, guys, I'm going to close the poll here in 3, 2, 1. Okay. I should clarify, Lindsay. I said on counting, not counting.
Okay. All right. I get you. Thank you guys for participating. What do our results look like, Emily?
Ooh, okay. So results for the poll went away from me. So
no worries.
Well, about 25% of you said you're beginners. So no worries. We're going to take things, pretty slow. This is all some good information for beginners. About 70% are intermediate. So that's fantastic.
Cool.
a good measurement there, and about 6 vets. So still some good information, new features will be good for you guys.
Nice, very nice, great. So those of you that are new on the call, we are always here to help you. So remember that, and you are more than welcome to ask questions throughout. So with that, I will turn it over to Emily, and she's going to start to dig into a few feature updates.
All right, let's get, oh, nope, actually.
Oh, wow. Who knew?
Wow, this is surprising.
Wow. Who knew that would be in here? Not me. I didn't do that. So for those of you that are new or intermediate or even our Lissio vets, you have probably, if you've been on a webinar with us before, you have heard me shamelessly plug our YouTube channel. This is a really great resource for you guys and also for your clients. So there are some client videos and tutorials on there as well. We just recently put one out about how to upload multiple files in the Liscio mobile app. If you haven't yet subscribed, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. You will get updates about when we post new videos, webinars, etc. And then I did want to just answer a question for Michael quickly, because he just put a question in. Can I get a copy of this class? Absolutely, Michael. Since you are here, and anyone that has registered, you will get an email follow-up after the webinar, and it will include the recording of the webinar and a few other resources that we'll be mentioning today. So Michael, you are good to go. If you've got to run out, feel free. You are good. We will get you a recording. So my shameless plug is over. Feel free to go into your feature updates now.
Okay. Alrighty. So a few feature updates. Some of these are going to be familiar. You've probably used a few. Others are brand new. So the first one we want to talk about, we're really excited. We know some of you have commented on your excitement as well, the entity switcher. So I'm just going to kind of go one by one and give you examples. Number one is our newest feature. It is going to help you if you are on multiple Liscio accounts. Let's say you're a firm user, of course, in your own account, but maybe you also do some consulting with another firm that also uses Liscio. You then have 2 Liscio accounts. We can, with this entity switcher, if you have the same email address in both accounts, you'll be able to quickly toggle between any Liscio account. Another example is for your clients. This is also a client side feature. Let's say you have a client, maybe you're their bookkeeper, you have Liscio, and then they maybe work with a tax consultant who also uses Liscio. So the client has 2 Liscio accounts. They could also toggle easily. So let me show you what that looks like. Okay, so I'm going to go into Liscio here. And what you're going to notice is actually bottom left below your profile, below your name. Same thing on the client side. It's going to list the name of the Liscio account you are in. So I'm in my Liscio account, firm name is Olympus. If I have another account I can switch into, I click the name here and I can switch over to Modern Advisors. Now, a really cool tip that you can share with your clients if they're going to be switching accounts is the little bell will show you if you have notifications in the other Liscio account. So I see that I have 2 notifications in Modern Advisors. Simply click on that name and it's going to take me into the Modern Advisor account where I can see a message and tasks. So really nice for you to be able to switch between different accounts. All right. The next one here is machine learning and an ideal tag set. So this one is going to be really, really great for you and your clients. It's all about saving you time, right? We know you're really busy, you have a lot to do. So how can we help you save more time? So when you're uploading files into Liscio, it's going to help read the file name and make an educated guess on the year, the month, and of course the tag. So I'm on the files page and I'm going to go ahead and upload a file manually. Pro tip here, don't go adding tags yet. You want your machine learning to do the work for you, right? So go ahead and drop in your file or files first. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab this document here, Leslie Nope. 1040 tax year 2019. You want to use common names, common file names, and common dates, so the educated guess is better for you. As you can see here, it's choosing the current month, but if it didn't guess right, that's okay, because I could click in and I could change that. Maybe I want it to be December. Great thing is it learns as you use it. So the educated guesses are going to get better. Now, you want to have a really good tag set to go along with the machine learning, because that will help with accuracy. So there is a tag set here that we've come up with that is going to really be optimized for your machine learning. And we're going to include this in the resources following the webinar. So these tags I'm kind of scrolling through here will be part of the resource package. You can come in and add these to your list. As you know, you can now customize your own tag set if you're an admin. All right, so that is machine learning. Next one is the inline images. So this is one we know you guys have wanted for a while. I've been using it a lot on my side, so it's a great feature. I hope you guys are excited about it. If I go back to Lissio here, I'm going to go ahead and just create a message. And what you're going to see now in your description is the image icon, where I could, let's say I want to send a snapshot of QuickBooks to my client. Take my screenshot, choose the file in Liscio, and add it right into the message. That way you don't have to upload it as a PDF and tag it. The machine learning, of course, helps with tagging now, but you don't want to really save all of these screenshots as files and clutter up your file section. So inline images are a great way for you and your clients to just get screenshots right into the description of your message. Okay, next one. We're going to be talking about jumping to accounts and contacts. So this comes actually from you guys as well. What is a quick way to get around in Liscio? And we want to make sure you're very aware of how to easily move around in Liscio, because we want to, of course, we want to save you time. So you can do this from the inbox. You could do it from your task page. Really, the key here is hovering. So I'm just going to use this message as an example. Stephanie, our client, sent me a question about a task. She's asking me about the task Lindsay sent her, but I'm in the inbox. So what I can do is I can actually hover over the account name here, and we're going to see this card appear. So anytime you want to jump, hover over the accounts or contacts in a task or a message, and click the box in the upper right corner. Now I'm directly in that account. I can check the task page. I get up to speed immediately on what Lindsay sent Stephanie. So really quick way of navigating around Liscio. Okay, this next one I'm so excited for. I think you guys are going to love it. It's coming out tomorrow. We are going to be doing in-product walkthroughs for clients. We're certainly going to be getting them into your guys' firm side accounts as well, but we want your clients to be able to easily self-serve and be able to use Liscio on their own. So I want to show you what that's actually going to look like. Okay, so you probably saw it here in the bottom right corner. We're calling them walkthroughs. It'll be on the home page of any client's account. So they can go to a walkthrough, they can decide what they want to learn about, and we will go step by step and teach them what to do. So let's say they want to upload a file. They click upload file. You'll see it's going to highlight and tell them where they need to go in order to accomplish this task. So it's really going to help them understand, okay, what does it mean to upload a file? How do I do it? And walk them through this step by step. So hopefully they don't have to, reach out to you as often, and they are going to be able to become Liscio pros on their own. So these are going to be live this Friday. We're really excited about it. And the last one here, we are looking at task reminders. You probably are familiar, these came out a few weeks ago, but we are going to help do a lot of the follow-up work. Liscio is going to help do a lot of that follow-up work and chasing your clients for you. Again, we really want to save you time. So some examples of the new email task summaries look like this. Clients that have tasks due this week will get a reminder on Monday of the task due. If they have tasks due in the current week and that are past due, they'll get reminders on Mondays. And anything overdue, they're going to get that summary each Monday via email. So this is really going to help with engagement. This is going to help you get your tasks completed on time. And again, this is going to be helping with your automation. Okay, I'm going to pass it back over to Lindsay. Those are some of the new and exciting features. She's going to talk to you a little bit about getting clients into Liscio.
Awesome. I did have a couple of questions I thought that we could cover real quick, and you guys will notice the screen that I'm sharing right now, and I will touch on that shortly. But we have a couple of questions. So number one, there was a question, Emily, will the walkthrough be available in the mobile app?
The walkthroughs are not going to be available in the mobile app at this time.
Got it. A couple of other questions. Let's see. This is actually an interesting feature request. You may have heard this before, Emily. I have not heard this yet. Will an inline table be available soon?
Inline, that's very interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting. I don't think we've heard it yet.
Ask about that.
Yeah, and Alexander, if you wouldn't mind, we would really like to know use cases where we always like to dig into stuff like this. And that may be a really great thing to put on our convenience feature list. So
yeah,
we will take note of that. So it's not on the roadmap right now, I don't believe. A couple other questions. Let's see. Okay. Is it client task reminders only or for our team as well? So basically, do the task reminders go to firm employees as well?
Oh, great question, Mika. That's a really good question. So as you might be aware, on the firm side, email notifications are not enabled by default. We don't want you to feel overwhelmed with all of your Liscio notifications coming into email. If you have requested from the support team to enable firm side notifications for your entire firm, then yes, you would get your task reminder summaries via email.
Gotcha. So a couple of other questions, and this kind of goes hand in hand with a few. So basically, do clients get task email reminders automatically, or do they need to be enabled? And then are we able to see that the client received a reminder, or do we just know they're sent out on Mondays?
Okay, they are going to be sent out every single Monday via email. I guess there's no way for you to see that the client received it just because it's going to their email inbox, but you're good to know that it does go out every Monday, the week that task is due, and every Monday it's past due.
Yep. And it's not something that you guys actually need to set up. Even for tasks that are a little bit older, it's just automatically going to do that for you guys.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So those are some of the questions. I think we are good for now on questions. Feel free, guys, to post some more if you have them. But I did just want to take a moment and say that for any Liscio veterans on the call today, for the remainder of the webinar, we're going to be covering stuff that you may already know. So I just want to throw that out there. If that's the case, feel free, pop off. You won't offend us, but I just want to let you guys know that this is stuff that you may already know. So we're going to be talking a little bit about client adoption, bulk actions, etc. So you are welcome to stay as always, but just know that you are also welcome to pop off if you'd like. So what I want to talk about getting clients into Liscio, right? This is the time of year when clients actually talk to us, right? This is the time of year when they need stuff from us, and we especially need stuff from them. So a couple of things I wanted to point out here. Number one is the implementation center on our website. If you go to liscio.me and check out the resources tab, there is an implementation center. Now there you will notice a section for prepping clients, for introducing Liscio to them. There is actually a package that you can download. So if you click download templates, you will get a zip folder. And that zip folder will contain a couple of different things. Number one, it will contain some email templates. Now, these email templates are meant to simply introduce Lissio to your clients, just to tell them, hey, we're going to be moving to this. This is how we want to communicate with you. Here are some of the benefits you will get by using Lissio with us. There are a couple of different variations. Of course, you guys are more than welcome to change up the language as you see fit, right? They are just templates, but you guys can always change it. I know some people have a very distinct brand voice that they like to use. So feel free to change it up as you need. The second thing in there is a PDF full of email signatures. Now, if you have not seen or heard of these yet, I highly recommend taking a look at these. So email signatures are meant to be placed at the bottom of your email, right? So after you guys have your name and your firm name and your contact information, you can stick a little blurb about Liscio under there. There are some different, as we say, like spice levels to them. There's like mild, medium, hot, and spicy. So it's just depending on how forward you want to be with the email signatures. But it does have some great information in there. It will remind them about Liscio. It'll give them information about Liscio support and also show them where they should be logging in and also how to download the mobile app. So if you have not yet looked at those, I recommend doing so. Number three, there is also a Liscio login plugin. The Liscio login plugin is something that you can have the person that handles your website actually install a Liscio login on your website. So that is where the client can, if they know to go to your website, they can go there each time and log into Liscio from there. It's just a nice kind of one area, a central location where you can put that stuff right on your website. So if you have not yet downloaded that package, highly recommend doing so. Now, I do want to talk a little bit about, okay, you want to send the emails out, right? But who do you send them to? If you've already sent invitations out, you probably want to have a good idea of who you actually need to be targeting in that email blast. So when you come into the contacts tab, this is also a really great way for you guys to monitor your adoption for as you start to invite clients. You will notice that tabs up at the top. And this is actually a great way to track your adoption. So anyone in the new category means that they have not been sent an invite yet. They're just kind of hanging out in Liscio. Invited means that you've sent an invitation to them and we're just waiting on them to accept. And for those of you that don't know, the invite will last for 7 days. The client has 7 days to accept that invitation. Anyone who is active actually means that they have set up their account. So at any point, if you want to see what client of mine has most recently set up their account, you can go to that active tab. And you can also view anyone that has let their invitation expire. Now, when you click on a specific tab, you will also have the ability to download that report. So in the upper right corner, you will see a little download icon. And you will be able to actually download that list of contacts. And then you can use that in your e-blast that you want to send to your contacts. And I did just want to mention that if you guys are looking for a few more in-depth reports, you can always reach out to Liscio support and they will help you with a few other reports if you need them. So keep that in mind. So I want to talk a little bit about how we can use bulk actions to help with our client adoption, how we can kind of motivate our clients to get in, and then how what features are going to help us get the attention of our clients, especially when we have clients that may be bakers or maybe they're construction workers and they're probably not at their desk all day, right? They are probably just having their phone in their pocket and walking around. So I want to go into bulk actions first, because I think this is really helpful for when you are trying to get things done pretty quickly. So, and Emily, let me know if there are any questions that we should answer before I kind of dig into it, but I think we're good. Okay. So let's go into the platform. Your bulk actions will actually show up here on your left-hand navigation. Now you have the ability to actually invite in bulk. So all of our bulk actions are on a limit of 100 per send. So when you come into invite to Liscio for bulk actions, the one thing that you can do to very quickly narrow down your list is choose the select status dropdown. And you can actually choose expired. This will actually pull up your entire list of the people that have let their invitation expire, and we can resend it to them. Now, I did want to point out here that you will notice a texting aloud column. If you have their mobile phone number in Liscio and that checkbox on their contact record checked for texting aloud, it will actually send them a text message invitation to Liscio. This, I will mention, guys, is always meant to be used sparingly, right? We don't want to spam our clients, and we certainly want our text message features to remain effective. So when you actually send this invitation, if they have texting allowed, it will send them a text message notification. It's actually going to allow them to activate their account right from their phone, and it will direct them to download the mobile app right after. If they don't have it checked, totally fine. They're just going to get an email notification that we're asking them to activate their account. Now on this page, you can select as many people as you'd like, go to the second page and select a few more people. And then on your next step, you are actually able to review this list. So you can actually go through and if you say, oh, I don't actually mean to invite this person, you can remove them from your send before you actually hit send. Now I did have, I wanted to give a shout out to Donna. Donna, are you here today on our call? Donna sent us a few questions before the webinar and was hoping that we could cover some of the questions for her on the webinar. And we said, of course, absolutely, because her questions are really great questions and they are things that you guys will benefit from knowing about. So Donna had a couple of questions about bulk messaging. So she's asking, what if I wanted to send out a news blast to clients? Maybe, for example, to tell everyone what to do if they don't have a specific form, right? That happens sometimes. This is a really nice process to use bulk send message for. When you choose send message, you are able to do a couple of things. So when you come in here, you're able to filter down by entity. So for example, if you need to send a bulk message to all of your individuals, if there's a specific form that you need to chat with them about or notify them about, you can actually choose the entity. And from here, you can choose your status. So if you want to just choose your active people, totally fine, but you can also just choose maybe expired. You can remind them to set up their Liscio account, for example, and it will send them an invitation. It's also a great way to say, hey, we actually do have something for you in your Liscio account. So get logged in. We've got stuff for you. And you can also choose to narrow down by relationship. So for example, if you want to avoid like any bankers that you have in there, any family members, etc., you can actually filter by relationship, and you can also filter by account owner. So I just want to show you briefly kind of what this process looks like. When you come in here, you will select the contacts that you want to be messaging. And I'm going to go to my next step, and then you will be able to actually draft your message. Now, I do want to point out that while you are sending this in bulk, it will come over to your client as though it was just sent to them. They are not going to be able to tell that it was sent to 50 other people, right? It's going to look very personal to them. You will be able to add your message title, your description, and also drop any files here if you need to. You can also do like an inline message or like an inline image to basically say, hey, this is what you need to be on the lookout for. Put a little screenshot in there for them. Once you go to draft the message, you then have another chance to review your list, and then you can send it. Once that sends, it will just send individually to each of those contacts. If the contact has not yet set up their account, they will still receive an email notification asking them to activate their account. So again, it's another really great way to tell your clients, hey, I've got something for you. I need you to do something for me. It's in Liscio for you. So, and I do see a quick question from Megan in chat, and I wanted to answer that. She's asking, are you able to send a bulk message based off of tags? So not based off of the file tags, I don't believe, but when you go to actually narrow down your list, you can filter down by entity, as I mentioned. So if you've got organization, partnership, etc., you can filter down by the status of your contact, and then also the relationship that they have with the account. So if they're an accountant, an attorney, etc., if they're an account owner as well. Account owners are pretty much the people that are going to be the main owner of the account, right? They are the person that you are typically going to be dealing with. And Megan, you're also asking, what if your only options are organization and individual? If you have some different entity types that you would like added to your Lissio account, that's something you can request through Lissio support, and we can add some new entity types for you. Super easy to do on our side. So feel free to send in a request. Super easy. So Emily, any questions before I kind of move away from bulk send message? Anything I should answer?
Let's see. So I know that one question was about the limit of 100 messages at a time.
Mm-hmm.
That's coming from Dwayne.
Yep. So we have it at 100 at a time. A couple of things, though, to mention here is, for example, when you are going to send a bulk message here, let me just pull this up. It will actually tell you the last message sent date and the last message title sent. So this is a really good way to kind of narrow down, and you can sort by these columns, narrow down people that you've already sent something to, and then go back through and you'll be able to push them out. I don't know, Emily, do we have any plans to increase that limit?
I know it's been a discussion. I know it's just not the top priority out of a lot of the other features that we're looking at adding sooner, but definitely something that we can bring back up to the team.
Yeah. And then Abigail's asking, if I need to send a letter only for our tax clients, will this be applied as well? So yes, you are able to, when you come into bulk send message, you're going to be able to actually filter down by that entity, and that's going to help you narrow down your list right there. And when you attach a file there, it will be available to all of those clients. But as I mentioned, it will not appear as though you're actually sending it to multiple people at a time. So they won't know. They will not know. All right. So I did want to answer another question from Donna. This is a question that comes up a lot. It's not really related to bulk actions, but I wanted to answer it because I think it's helpful for everyone. And the question is really about, like, how can I add someone to an existing thread, right? We all know what happens when you get a question from a client and it's not for you. They just chose someone from the list, right? If that happens, you can actually add employees onto a message thread. So here's that example. If I receive this IRS notice from Leslie, and I'm not the person that normally answers these questions, I can loop another employee in. So if I click reply, this little reply box will pop up and you have an additional field. This is where I will click into the additional field and I'm going to choose my employee from the list. So I'm choosing Emily here. Emily deals with IRS notices, and all I'm doing is clicking OK. Now, once I reply, I can say, hi, Leslie, sure thing, looping Emily in here to help. Once I hit send, what will happen is Leslie will get my message. Emily will also be notified, and Emily will also receive the full history of the message thread. So when she comes in here, she's going to be able to see very quickly exactly what Leslie needs, and she can help address that. It's also a really great way to kind of just change the habits of our clients so they know who they should be contacting about these things. So, all right, so there is that. And I wanted to talk a little bit about sending tasks, sending files, and text message notifications, right? Now, anytime that you actually are sending something to a client, even if they have not set up their account yet, it is going to send them a notification via email. If you, for example, need to send, maybe you need a variety of different documents from them, the request information task is going to be very useful for that. You can tie it to the contact and the account. You can set a due date, and you will actually be able to request the documents here. Your client is going to receive an email notification about that task. This is also where you are able to make use of the task summary reminders. Because if Leslie, for example, maybe she hasn't set her account up yet, but I can't finish her return until I have certain documents from her. She's going to get that email notification. And then on Monday, if she still hasn't signed in, she's still going to get a task summary, letting her know that I actually need something from her, and it's in the form of a task. So this is a really great way to just motivate clients to get in and say, hey, this is your one-stop shop. This is where you're going to go and we'll chat. And this is where you're going to be able to actually see what exactly I need from you, right? Now, I do want to talk about text message notifications. When you are under a contact record, you are going to be able to add a mobile phone number in for them right here. So when I go in to edit this contact, under additional details, you will see a section for mobile number and this checkbox. So if you have someone like Jane who is maybe not being incredibly responsive, maybe Jane is a baker, she's really not at her desk, she's definitely not checking her email. If that is the case, I know I have her mobile phone number, I'm going to stick it in there, and I am going to send her a text message notification. Let me show you how this works. And again, guys, this is something you'll definitely want to do sparingly, right? We want this to remain effective. And this is really, really helpful for people who are not at their desk all day. And it could be that Jane's not trying to ignore us. She's just really busy. So when I go to send her a message, there is going to be a notify via text box. When I check this, it is going to be sure that it sends a text message notification to Jane. A few things I do want to point out here, and you guys may have heard this before, but I always like to point it out. Your subject line of the message will actually translate over to your text message on their phone. So that means use it to your advantage. If it's something that you need that's urgent, like payrolls due at 3 p.m., or you can't finish their return unless you have a certain document, use your subject line to your advantage. Jane will get a text message notification letting her know that I, from firm name, has sent her a message. Subject line will be right there. It's going to ask her to log into Lissio, right? It will also give her the link to download the mobile app if she does not already have it. So remember to kind of use this sparingly. It's definitely something that's effective though for those clients that are not always at their desk. So any questions so far before I kind of turn it over to you again?
Oh, okay. Lots of questions. Let's see here. So one question is kind of going back a little bit, but I know we get this a lot. So I think it's good to address at a webinar. Kim had asked, can we forward a message to another staff member without letting the client?
Yes, very good question, Kim. So basically what typically happens, so there's not a way to actually add the additional employee and not notify the client, but there is something that I always like to point out here. When you click into any single message thread in Liscio, it has a unique URL. So what I can do, if I don't want to notify the client, like let's say my client's really, really angry and I'm new at the firm and I'm really, really scared and I need my manager's help or something of the like. I am able to actually copy that URL and I can do one of two things. Number one, I can create a to-do task, right? So I'm able to actually choose Emily. I can choose Craig's design and landscaping and grab Leslie. And I'm going to say, please see this message thread and assist. When Emily gets that, she's actually going to be able to click directly on that link and it's going to take her to that same exact message thread. The client will have no idea, right? The other thing that you can do is if you use an internal chat system, like for example, we use Microsoft Teams, I can shoot that right over. I almost said Slack it right over, but that's not Microsoft Teams, but I can Slack it over. If you're using Slack, you can use that unique URL in any instance in Liscio, whether it's a task, a message, a file, etc. So the unique URLs are really nice for if you kind of want to keep things behind the scene, right? So I hope that helped answer. All right, good questions, guys. There is a question I see from Miranda that I wanted to answer. Can I remove recipients from the ply when they have selected a person that does not need to be on the thread? I don't believe you can actually remove people from the thread, so keep that in mind. I did want to point out though quickly, when you send a reply, you do have the ability to delete the message that you sent. So if I said, hi, Jane, sure, here's the info. And maybe that was not supposed to actually go to Jane. If that's the case, you do have the option to delete the message that you just sent. And it will just say, this message has been deleted by Lindsay. So unfortunately, when you send an email, there is no way to unsend it. But in Liscio, if you send a message to someone and it wasn't correct, or it was actually meant for another person, you can actually delete that message. I just wanted to point that out. All right.
One other good question. This comes from Miriam. Hi, Miriam. She's asking, with the text messaging, can they request to stop text if they want?
I'm going to leave that to you.
The answer is yes. We have to legally allow them to opt out of text notifications. But a really great feature is if a client ever does opt out, you will get notified. The client service team, or if you're a sole proprietor, you will get a notice in your inbox saying this client has opted out of texting. So you can actually have a conversation with them and let them know how texting can be helpful. Maybe just encourage them to get on the mobile app if they do this. But we also send your client a message when they opt out that shows them how to opt back in. So we're trying to cover all bases. You will get notified if this is the case.
Very good question. I did have a question real quick about passwords. So are admins able to reset client passwords if they forgot passwords? So clients can obviously do this on their own if they need to, but let's say, for example, if Jane is out and about and she needs a password reset request, I can actually send that to her on my side. So if you go into the contact section, you'll see this little icon right here, and you're going to be able to actually send a reset password email to them. That's a really good question as well. Okay. So I am going to now turn it back over to Emily and allow her to talk a little bit about streamlining tax return delivery. Also, thank you guys for your great questions.
I was just going to say that. Your guys'
questions
have been incredible. We're trying to get through them all. If we don't answer everything, we usually try to get every question answered, but we will follow up afterwards if there was one we didn't get to. So
absolutely.
Lindsay's going to take over the Q&A for me, and I'm going to get back on to how to send returns.
Awesome.
Okay, so I do want to point out really quickly that we know not everybody is going to be sending tax returns. We also have people in various other kind of niches for their jobs. And so this actually is going to go over some features that everyone can use, but we know that tax season is here. So we do want to use the example of the US tax returns. So let's talk about the features that are going to help you here. Liscio Dispatch is a great feature to help gap the bridge between your back office software and your client. And then how do you gain signatures? Two ways. You can have clients e-sign. They can also print, sign, and scan. So let's talk about Dispatch here first. Liscio Dispatch is the app that you'll download to your computer that will help you seamlessly and securely transfer PDFs from one system to Liscio. And the best part is it's all about saving you time. So I want to start with the example of how to use Liscio Dispatch, and then we'll move on to e-signing. So there are a few ways to utilize Liscio Dispatch here. And one way that we can do this is actually going to be, when you download it, the important piece here is actually that it's going to create a folder in your File Explorer. Now, if you're a Mac user, you have a Finder where you will also find this Liscio folder. So never fear, you will be able to send the documents through the Liscio Dispatch folder, and that will be what initially gets things rolling over into Liscio. So for an example, just because I know we don't have all just tax people here, we want to give you an example of how to print a profit and loss from, let's say, QuickBooks. So what we'll do is we have our profit and loss up here. So we're going to print, and we're going to save this document as a PDF. So the big thing is Liscio Dispatch is not a print driver. You're going to be saving the PDF, and you're going to have the option to rename it down here. We'll keep it simple. And we are going to save it to the dispatch folder. Before I do so, this is a great time to actually bring back up that machine learning feature. Remember, file naming common file names is going to help it learn. And I'm going to go ahead and add the year here. As I save it to the dispatch folder, what we're going to notice is Liscio is going to then feed us the files page. It's going to be a page you are very used to seeing when you manually upload files. Okay, here we go. So it's added some of the tags for me. Again, if it's not correct, you can easily click in here to change it. And you can add the client if you'd like to send this over to the client. So this was for Craig's Design and Landscaping. And then I can decide if I need to make this private so only the firm can view it, or maybe I want to quietly upload it into Liscio for the client, or I can say, here is your P&L and notify the client. So you have a lot of really great options. It's going to save you time and it's going to help you get things over from one system directly into Liscio. So that's one way, printing PDFs. So the second option I'd like to walk you through is, well, if you have a document on your computer, why not just drag and drop it right into Dispatch? So that is another option. So I'm going to go into my documents here and I have a tax return. I'm going to drag it over top of the folder and I'm going to drop it right in. We're going to see that exact same files page pull up for us here. So when it pops up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this example for the next item, which is the e-sign and the signing for tax returns. So in the to field, I'm going to go ahead and choose the taxpayer and the account. Now here's kind of a tip. If you have a return and you aren't quite ready for the client to see it yet because you'd rather them get it for their signature, go ahead and either upload as private so they don't have access to it, or quietly put it into Liscio so you're not notifying them just yet because you might want to wait until you push this out for signature. I'm going to get rid of my miscellaneous tag and I'm going to upload it. Before I upload, actually, are we all good, Lindsay? Any questions?
We do have a couple of questions.
Okay.
One of the questions is Dispatch available in the cloud? We use infinitely virtual / remote desktop.
Yes, so we have some success right now with terminal servers, and we're doing some beta testing for those in different environments. Infinitely virtual is one that we've been working closely with. So if you want any, or if you need any assistance with getting this working on your terminal server, reach out to support. We're here to help you with that.
Awesome. We have another question. Can you upload more than one document to the same client using Liscio Dispatch?
Oh, certainly. I could add multiple files with for attachment here, but just keep in mind that all files being uploaded here will be tagged the same.
It's good to point out. Very good. All right. Let you keep going.
Great. So I'm going to go ahead and click upload. And then I'm going to pop back over into Liscio here. So as you know, if I go to my main Liscio file page, I'm going to see those documents that I just sent through. We have the P&L and we have the tax return. Now that the return is here, how do we gain a signature? Again, these next two items are going to be helpful for anybody looking to gain signatures on any type of document. So let's talk a little bit about e-signing. We can add new to create a new eDoc. Then in the to field, we're going to put in the recipients who need to actually sign this return. So this is going to be Stephanie, and this is for her individual account, and her husband, Joe. Then I'm going to let them know this is for their Form 8879. Please review and sign. You might have some other instructions there if you'd like. But the cool thing here is we're going to go right into our Liscio vault and grab that tax return that's already existing in Liscio. Now, another tip, a lot of times if we're working with firms that have more than one employee and multiple clients, you're not going to always see your file right at the top. So definitely make sure to utilize those filters, specifically by account and contact, to grab the right file. And you can click on a PDF to preview, make sure, yep, this is the Andrews. So I'm going to select that document, attach the file, and then I'm going to prepare it for signing. So this is where we set it up for signature. I apologize, I forgot to point out KBA. For tax returns, the KBA option is in the upper right corner of the previous page. If you have questions about that, let us know. We can always point that out to you. So then we want to make sure that they have a signature spot for both the taxpayer and the spouse. You can use these tools on the right-hand side to drag and drop. I'm going to show you something that might blow your mind a little bit here. So if you need any help, you have questions, reach out to support. You can also do the field templates that lay over the signatures for you. So I'm going to apply it. And okay, I think I picked the wrong one. But when you apply it, it's going to lay over the top here for your signatures for both the spouse and the taxpayer. So you can do the layover field so you don't have to drag and drop each time. And then you can click send. So that's how you can go ahead and get those electronic signatures out to your clients and have them sign right within Liscio. Okay, I will note here, it's looking a little different because I have some fillable fields in. Yours will not have these, so I apologize. This is not what you would actually see next. It would just send directly to your client. So you shouldn't run into this screen here. So I want to show you one more way to gain a signature, and that is through your request information task. So we've got the question a lot. Well, my client might not want to go through KBA, or I don't have spouse's email address. They don't use email. That's all right. What you can do is you can create a task. We're going to go with request information. Now I'm going to go ahead and send this to the Andrews, but I'm just going to select Stephanie. She's our main contact. She does everything for her and her husband. I'm going to request that they review and sign their form. Then what you can ask them to do is they can print, sign, and then scan back the document with the Liscio mobile app. So that's where that built-in scanner comes really, really handy for those that might not want to be doing e-sign, or they just have somebody that isn't going to be using Liscio because they don't use email. That's perfectly fine. I can come in here. I can grab that tax return. Stephanie can print it. Both her and Joe can sign it at the table, and then she can scan it back with her handy mobile app. Now, the perk of both of these task reminders on Monday when they are due, and every Monday it's past due. So just another pro tip, I would not make your due date February 15th, or excuse me, April 15th or March 15th. You want to make sure that your clients are getting those reminders so you can get the signatures on time. So just keep the due date a little bit closer so that they are getting consistent reminders. And then we'll create the task. Okay, questions?
Yeah, we have some really good questions. First of all, Stacy's asking about a status on templates for sending messages. So I thought I'd throw that one at you real quick.
Templates for sending, we're still testing those. I don't have a timeline for you, but if you've noticed that we have in-product announcements when new features are available, we'll do the exact same as soon as message templates are coming your way.
Very good. We have a couple of questions about the make private files. So basically the questions are, how do you know if a file is marked private? And let's see, previously. Okay, so number one, how do you know if it's marked private? What's the indicator? And number two, what do you do if you're ready to share that out?
Great question. So I'm just going to go to our main files page here. Again, that's your Liscio Vault where all files are stored for quick access. You can do this on any file section. Quick tip, you can filter from all files to just private files. Remember, private files mean only internally can they see these files. Clients cannot see private files, which are indicated by a lock icon. So if there's a lock icon next to the file name, client can't see it. Now, if you're ready to share this out, you can always use your Liscio Vault attachment and attach it to a message or a task, or there's also an option to share files. So if I click to open the file and I click share, that will remove the private status with whoever I'm sharing this file with. So I can go ahead and add Leslie here and share it out so she has access. All right.
Very good. Okay. So we only have about 6 more minutes left. Oh my gosh, this time absolutely flew by. It's wild. In the last 6 minutes, I want to cover Liscio for Outlook with everyone and just chat about some of the use cases. And then if we have time, I know there are 2 more questions. We'll try and get to those in the webinar. If not, we will definitely send you guys a follow-up with those. So let me share my screen and let's talk a little bit about Liscio for Outlook. So Gmail users, their instance is coming for this relatively soon. Emily, is that correct? Do we know when Gmail for Outlook, I said Gmail for Outlook, Liscio for Gmail will be out?
We don't have an exact date for that. It is still being heavily worked on by our development team. So we've not forgotten about you guys. We promise we are definitely working to get this out as soon as we can.
Awesome. Thank you. I just wanted to, I knew someone would maybe ask that question, so I thought I would ask it. So I want to talk, I want to talk about the use cases for Liscio for Outlook. So Liscio for Outlook, guys, it is specifically designed for you guys to get things out of your email, right? Email is a terrible task list because things just pile on and on and on. So it's meant to get things out of your email inbox and into Liscio, to reduce your email silos, right? Because nothing is more painful than when I receive an email from a client and none of my staff knows about it. And then I have to spend time catching them up or sending CCs. Instead of doing that, I can very easily push that email into Liscio. This does a couple of things for us. It helps notify the client that we should be using Liscio to communicate, right? When I push their email into Liscio, I can actually send a message back to them with that and respond to it. What they will get is then an email notification that I have responded to their message. So you can do a couple of things here when you are using Liscio for Outlook. You'll notice the 3 options I have here. And for those of you that have not already downloaded this, you can download Liscio for Outlook in your profile section of Liscio. So if you go there, you will be able to see Liscio download apps and you can get that downloaded. There are also, I will do another shameless plug of YouTube. You can also watch a tutorial video on YouTube for how to install it. So when you come here, you are able to send a message. You are going to be able to actually tie it to a specific person. You can add people on here as well. If the contact has not already been created in Liscio, you actually have the option to create them as a contact right from the screen. I do want to point out that if they have an attachment in their email, it will come over into Liscio, right? So that's something you're going to be able to actually bring right over. No friction there. So sending a message, obviously you can see the addition, the original email, but if you want to add a note, you can just very simply add your note here and say, "Hi, Leslie, please take a look at what I got from your banker," for example. So if I have a banker that maybe he's not going to be using Liscio and he sends me automated reports or anything like that, I can actually just move them right into Liscio and notify my client. Now, another thing here is that you can also create tasks. So for these tasks, you can do a manage to go items task, which is basically letting them know if you have something ready for them to pick up. You can do a request information task. you can do an internal task, which is a to-do, and you can actually select a specific employee to assign that to. So if I'm getting emails from some of Emily's clients, I'm going to be able to tie a to-do to her and say, hey, I got this email. Can you reach out to Nathan, for example? And then the very last thing that you can do is create a note. Notes are really great for if you need to remind someone on the account that this correspondence has been happening, right? If it's a really long thread, let's say, for example, you have a client that they just recently got into Lissio, but you have a lot of history in email, right? If that's the case and you have a really long thread that's rich, full of content that you need in Lissio, you can take that thread and move it into Lissio just as a note if you'd like. That note is internal only. So that means that no other, like the client cannot see it. The client will absolutely not see it, but the firm employees can see it and will have access to it. And it's going to work the same way with the attachments. You will always have the attachments there. Now, when it comes over into Liscio, so I'll go ahead and just create this note real quick. And we're going to go over to ABC Company and we'll take a look at that note. It's going to have a couple of different things on it. And as I mentioned, that is going to be internal only. When I come over to Liscio and I go into ABC Company, we're going to see in the notes section here, the note that I just pushed over. So we will have all of this information here, and you will also have the attachment. So this is meant to be a really, really quick and easy way to get things out of your email inbox and get them into Liscio where you want your client communications, right? You want to try and eliminate silos as much as possible. So, wow, I'm pretty sure we could have spent like an hour and a half on this subject. So we do have a couple of questions left. It is 1 o'clock though, so we will have to pop off here. But we will get to your guys' questions after the webinar. We'll send you a note personally. Thank you so much for being here. It's always a pleasure. And
Lindsay and I both love to talk. Let's just start doing 90-minute webinars.
Yes. And Abigail is asking, will this be saved? Yes, we will be uploading the recording to Lissio's YouTube channel, which is Lissio CX. So Abigail, thank you for giving me yet another chance to plug our YouTube channel. So you guys will get an email follow-up with a couple of resources mentioned from today, as well as the recording, and we will follow up on some of the unanswered questions. So thank you all so much. Please take care of yourself as it gets into busier season.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, guys.